Everything outside of you is a reflection. This is why when you try to change your relationships, when you try to change your job, your business, your income, nothing changes because that's just a reflection of your inner self. So if the inner self is wounded, the reflection will mirror the wounds, not the desire. That's why your manifestation do not come true, because they are based on the inner wounding that you are carrying. So this is why I'm going to share with you how your outer reality is a reflection of your inner wounds that keeps you stuck in the same loop, and how to shatter that reflection, that mirror, so that you can actually manifest your desires and not your wounds. So, in order to understand how reality creation works, we have to understand why reality does not reflect what you desire. So I want you to picture this. Imagine there's a mirror and you see everything in that mirror. You see the furniture, you see the decoration of the room, and you keep trying to change the decoration in the room, the furniture, the way it looks, but you don't do anything about the person that is standing in front of the mirror. So you change the background, you change everything, but the person remains the same. So it doesn't matter how much rearranging you do, the person doesn't change. That's exactly what is your inner wound. You can rearrange everything, but if the inner wound is standing and reflecting in the mirror, then that is what will be manifested. That wound keep manifesting itself over and over without changing your reality, because that is what creating and manifesting everything you are experiencing. And I exactly experienced that myself when I was in corporate job in investment banking, over 10 years working for corporates and going through trying to change my job, trying to change my title, keep getting promoted, and trying to find the fulfillment and happiness by keep changing and rearranging my reality. Nothing was making me happy and fulfilled because I was not changing myself. I was remaining the same and I was trying to rearrange my reality, thinking maybe this will fix the way I feel. Maybe that will fix the way I feel. Maybe this will change the way I feel. It will give me worthiness, give me love, it will give me success. But actually, that success felt empty. It felt misaligned. It felt not like me. And until I started really working through the wounding, the inner world, the inner self, where I released the wounding, nothing changed for me. So, this is why you have to understand the mirror principle. The mirror principle is all about you not changing the outer reality, but actually removing that completely, ignoring that completely, and start reflecting back to yourself, who you are being, where you are. So, for example, if someone wants success, next level of success, income, impact, visibility, love, abundance, all of that, they desire, they want to manifest, they want to travel the world, they want to be a speaker, an author, they want to do all the amazing things in the world, but they are inside of themselves, they are holding on to anger. They are holding on to abandonment wounds. They are holding on to shame. They are holding on to guilt. Then their outer reality will reflect the anger. It will reflect the shame. It will reflect the guilt and the abandonment wound. Why? Because that's what is deeply emotionally congruent with them. What you have to understand, the reality doesn't change but just by thinking about something. Reality changes when your dominant emotion and dominant frequency is in alignment with that desire. So I'm going to repeat this again. The reality changes when your dominant emotion and dominant frequency is in alignment with the desire. So, if someone is holding on to anger, that is their dominant emotion. If they feel angry about what has happened to them, the life that they lived, the way people treated them, or maybe they were bullied or they were abandoned. So they are angry. They are angry with the way world treated them. So that is their dominant emotion. And that dominant emotion will create the dominant frequency, because emotion and frequency are complete works together. So when somebody is in that dominant frequency of the world is bad, the world treated me badly, so they are operating from the frequency of lack, that I'm not worthy, I'm not enough because the world was horrible to me. So they will keep finding themselves in struggle, in challenge. They will keep finding they're constantly feeling like a failure, because they are operating from that energy, that nothing works out for them. Nobody is there for them. Nobody is there to support them. Nobody is there to love them. So they constantly manifest their dominant emotions by struggle, by failure, by having money blocks, because the shame is so deep. Shame is something that blocks abundance. Shame is the deepest, most lowest frequency. And a lot of people hold on to shame for whatever reason, different reasons, but people hold on to shame, and that then manifest as money blocks, struggle with money, challenges with creating higher level of success and wealth and abundance. So they operate from that shame, and then they witness lack of money or lack of opportunities, struggle in getting promotions or launching their business, or there's doubt, there's fear, all of that coming from a deeper shame that they hold, and guilt, where they're overworking. And guilt is very much about overgiving, overworking, and under receiving, not receiving, but actually giving. So income is not where they want to be. They always have to go through struggle, hard work. Nothing comes easily to them. That is all the inner wounding, that they subconsciously believe that they have to struggle in order to be successful. Things have to be harder for them because they have all these emotions that they are holding on to. So this is why these people, even though they are ambitious, they are compassionate, they are talented, they are gifted, but they cannot create the higher level of success and wealth, because they are operating from these deeper core wounding that is creating the frequency of lack, and the universe is just mirroring the lack, and that's why their reality keep evidencing the lack that they are operating with. And this is why they will notice all of these in their outer reality, where they are struggling, they're challenging, the relationships are harder, they're attracting wrong people in their life, they are attracting wrong opportunities, and people are sabotaging or taking advantage of them. All of that is occurring because the inner reality is holding on to these wounds. We have to be very mindful of that. Whatever the inner reality holds, that is what manifests. It's not about affirmations. It's not about meditation. It is not about any of the manifestation practices. It is about what your body energetically and emotionally holding on to. Because whatever it's holding on to, that's what reprogramming your subconscious, that is what contracting your nervous system, that is what giving you emotions and thoughts that are manifesting the way they are manifesting. Because ultimately, it is the external that is mirroring the internal. Whatever is internal, that is what being seen on the outside. And this is why when I went through traumatic marriage and ran away from my ex at 20, and I was holding on to a lot of PTSD, a lot of trauma, a lot of wounding, and that kept manifesting over and over for years, where I kept attracting wrong people. I kept feeling deep depression. I kept going through these dark places that I did not know how to get out of, because I was operating from that inner wounding that I was not letting go, and I was keep trying to change job, change homes, always changing things, thinking that is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong, and when I change that, everything will be fine. But actually, until I changed myself, until I changed my inner reality, nothing changed. So, this is why when I work with my clients, I work on their inner self, the core of the wound, where the wound is coming from. Because ultimately, what you have to understand, the nervous system, the subconscious, the energetics, the emotions, the thinking, the consciousness, it is all entangled together. They are all working together. So it's not about just subconscious reprogramming. It's not just about nervous system healing. It's not just about manifestation tools. It's not just about healing your emotions, but actually going to the root of where everything is stemming from. Where is it coming from? And when you can really address the root of this inner wounding, when you can address the deeper reason why there is abandonment wound, why there is shame, why there is guilt, why there is anger, why there is resentment, where is it coming from? When you can address the root, that's when you start shifting energetically, emotionally, because your dominant frequencies start changing. Your dominant emotions start changing. You no longer hold on to pain and suffering. You start holding on to love, joy, peace. And when you start holding on to joy, love, peace, the abundance shows up. You become the magnet to good things. You become magnet to light. You become magnet to love. You become magnet to wealth. And the more you operate from that peaceful state, the more aligned opportunity shows up. And I've seen that time and time again with my clients, whether their investment increased, whether they bought a house that they never thought they would be able to buy, whether that is getting a job that they were trying to get that they could not get, whether that was increasing in their income. Doesn't matter what that was, but it was all connected with their inner self, inner wounding. When we started changing that, everything outside of them started changing. One of my clients, I was just speaking today, and she was like, Sadaf, things are moving so fast. I don't know what to do. It's like everything is unfolding. It seems like everything has started working for me. Things that were stuck for years, they are now, it's just everything is opening. It's just happening within last 15 days. Things have shifted so much. And I am doing everything, but I feel so peaceful. And that's what it's about. It's not about hustling. It's not about working hard. It's like you have capacity to hold more. So she is working. She's also have investment. She's also receiving other type of investment, and she's trying to work through something else. And it's like multiple sources of income, and her job and her family. She's able to manage and hold everything together because she's operating from expansion, not from a place of contraction, by holding on to these wounds. So when you let go of the wounding, you start expanding in your consciousness, your nervous system starts expanding, you have more capacity to receive wealth and abundance. And that's exactly what is happening with her. That even though there's a lot of things coming towards her in a good way, but she's able to hold it, handle it. But when you are wounded, when you're carrying a deeper wounds, you will feel overwhelmed. You will feel like, I don't want this. You will self-sabotage. You will reject and resent. So this is why you have to do the deeper work in order to create the wealth and abundance that you desire. So one of the first steps to shatter that reflection is to ignore the 3D. Because the 3D reality, the outer reality, is actually your past version that is being manifested. So everything you thought about, everything you think, everything you feel, it keeps manifesting in the 3D. And because there is a gap between the thinking and the feeling, to manifesting whatever that is, because manifestation isn't about just manifesting positive, but we are also manifesting negative based on our emotions, based on our thinking, based on how we feel. It is all manifesting, but there is a delay between the thinking and the emotions and between the manifestation when it comes to the 3D reality. So this is why you have to ignore what you see, because everything you see, it is your past self reflecting in the now. So this is why you have to ignore it. If you're looking to change your life, if you're looking to create higher level of success, you have to ignore what is being shown. Because if you absorb what is being shown, you are recreating the same thing over and over. So if somebody see in their reality, they're stuck in six-figure salary, but they want to create millions, but they find themselves stuck in that six-figure and they can't break through. They feel angry, they feel judgment, they feel like there's something wrong with them, they're not good enough. So if they keep observing that six figures and feeling angry, feeling upset, feeling sad, then they keep manifesting that six figure. Even though their desire is millions, but they keep manifesting the six figures because that's what they keep getting attached to. Whatever you are attaching yourself to, you are actually manifesting it because that is what is dominant within you. So this is why you have to ignore that six figure in order to create million. So how do you ignore that? You ignore it by focusing on the desire. So if the desire is millions, then you move from that desire. You believe it is already yours. You believe and you move and take action like you already a millionaire. When you do that, then you are no longer attached to the six figure because you're operating from a millionaire self. And when you operate from the millionaire self, eventually the reality catches up to make that true for you in the 3D. And this is the key. This is why you have to ignore the 3D. And I'm talking about the money, but it's same as opportunities, same as people, love, relationships. If things are harder, things are challenging, you must ignore it. If people are difficult, you must ignore it because you have to focus on having the aligned people, people who love you, who care for you, who cherish you, who make you feel wanted and desired. You have to start focusing on that. And when you start focusing on that, you slowly release the old. You let go of those people who are misaligned. They start leaving you because they are no longer in alignment with you. They start leaving you because you are moving into the higher vibration, and then the right people start showing up. Right communities start showing up, right opportunities start showing up. But you must let the old go. You must ignore the 3D. But if you keep attaching, if you keep thinking, well, why are they not being nice to me? Why they are angry with me? Why do they not love me? If you keep doing that, then you are attached to those people who are misaligned, who are not your people. Then you keep manifesting the same kind of people. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm giving you two different examples so that you know how it works. You must let it go. You must ignore. You do not take it seriously. You do not get attached. You let it go. And when you let it go, the reality start manipulating into your desired self, into the desired reality automatically. But like I said, there is a gestation period. There is a time between the way you feel and think and believe to the time when you see the manifestation. The second step to shatter the reflection is to heal the core wounds, because your core wounds are so dominant, so strong that if they are not shifted, if they are not released, they will keep manifesting itself. You must release it from the core in order to create higher level of wealth. So this is why healing is such a big part in my work. Healing work and energy work, those work together so that we can shift the way you feel, the way you think, the way your consciousness operate from poverty to wealth, from low frequency to high frequency, by releasing the deeper core wounds. When we do that, everything else starts shifting, everything else starts changing. changing. And this is why it is the fundamental requirement in order to create and change your reality. There are a lot of people teaching manifestation where they say, well, you don't need to heal, you just keep doing the practices and everything will work out. Well, maybe on some level it will. If you keep changing your thinking, it will work out. But if you are going for a deeper, more quantum leap, if you're looking for complete 180-degree shift where you are on this level, you're on 100,000, you want to move to million, 2 million, 10 million, then the deeper work is required. But if you're manifesting coffee, if you're manifesting, I don't know, a few $1,000 or $100 or I don't know, something like that small, then yes, you can keep using the manifestation tools. But ultimately, in order to create a bigger leap, you must go deep. That's how we create a bigger leap, by going deeper into the core to completely create the shift in your identity, which will shift your reality. The third step is your subconscious identity. In order to change your reality on the outside, you must change your identity from the inside. The reason I say subconscious, because a lot of people do subconscious programming, but it is the identity that is keep manifesting itself based on how you see yourself. So I'll give you an example. So I always saw myself in the mirror that I am bigger. I have a lot of weight. I had body dysmorphia where doesn't matter, even though people will say I'm skinny, but I would see myself as fat. So I was in illusion that I am fat, but actually I was holding on to the wounding where when I was a little girl, I was a chubby child and I was constantly being told or maybe made fun of being a chubby child. So that kind of created a wounding where people, even with loving word, they said things that made me feel like I'm a bigger baby or a bigger child. So that created that wounding where my idea of me was like, I am big, I am fat, so I did not like myself. So that was very subconscious identity of being fat, but actually I wasn't. There was these wounding that was telling me my body is not good enough or I am not good enough. There's something wrong with me, right? So that was a subconscious identity, the way I perceived myself, the way I saw myself. So this is why it is so important that how do you perceive yourself? If you perceive yourself unworthy, if you perceive yourself not good enough, broken, damaged, something wrong with you, failure, that is all creating the framing of your identity. That is architecting your identity. And that's what we want to shatter. That's what we want to change and release so that you start seeing yourself as wealthy, as abundant, as loved, as cherished, as somebody who is incredible, talented, gifted. When you start seeing that, changing that, and releasing the identity wounding, that's when your outer reality starts shifting. Because when you stop seeing yourself as somebody who's broken, who's damaged, or something wrong with them, the world will start seeing you differently. World will start loving you, caring for you, cherishing you, celebrating you, because you are celebrating yourself, because you are loving yourself, because you are the one who is creating the reality you are experiencing. So subconscious identity is huge when it comes to changing the reality. This is why this work is so key in order to change the life, in order to change your life in a way that you desire. And by the way, if you want to work with me, where we work on your subconscious identity, we release the deep core wounding, we work on your consciousness to shift into wealth consciousness, into wealth identity, into a version of you that creates higher level of success, income, and impact. If that's something you're interested in, you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring. And I trust this video has given you exactly to understand how this works. Because truth be told, you are only seeing a fraction of your potential in your reality. There's so much in you. There's so much possible for you, but it will manifest when you start changing your inner world into matching your your desires, into matching the wealth you desire, into matching the love that you desire. When that changes, the whole world will change. And with that, if you would like to work with me, make sure you click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And may the light in me reaches the light in you.